Hello everyone, it's My Heart on Display. How's everything going, you guys? It's been a crazy month here in May. I live in Texas, so the weather right now is super crazy. You're gonna hear a lot of thunder, you're gonna hear a lot of rain. I can't help that, so. Today is a long video. It's also a video I have been dreading to make. Simply because I have too much to go over, and that would be my pre-orders of 2021. Now, I have a lot pre-ordered, and when I get the urge to buy a figure, I don't stop it. I just pre-order and go, within my budget, of course. But because of that, I've got a lot lined up. That could be a blessing, and it could also be a curse. However, I thought it'd be really cool to go over what I have coming up in the next coming months for you guys, maybe show you a little bit of what I'll be presenting here on the channel, and you can let me know what you're excited for. So, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I have a terrible time keeping up with my pre-orders, like a terrible time. So to make life easier on me, I actually have a giant spreadsheet that goes over each of my figures, what I have lined up. I usually carry the prices as well for each figure, and you can just see that a little bit better here. I convert it usually to US dollars, and this will help me figure out what I need to budget from month to month. So I'll basically be looking at this spreadsheet to go over what I have. I don't have anything missing from it, so if it's not included here, I probably haven't gotten it yet. Also, the spreadsheet, I will say, really helps me financially. Like, I don't usually spend any type of money unless I go through my spreadsheet, see what I have for the month, see what's been delayed, and see what's coming out in the month that I'm in. It really does help, and I recommend it for aspiring figure collectors or people who have yet to figure out a best way to budget their finances around figures. This helps a lot. I kind of stray away from pre-ordering figures that I have to pay up front for, so this is like on sites like Tokyo Otaku Mode or Solaris Japan, and even in some cases like Right Stuff, just because they do require a lot of upfront payment, and I'm not about that life. I gotta save up for it, I gotta be prepared. Lastly, this may not be the most well-presented video. It's just me talking about my pre-order, so there's no real figures to show. I will get back to my regular unboxing type of content after this, so stay tuned for that. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So right now we're in the month of May, and May is looking a little bit tight. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is filmed as of the 18th of May, so it may change depending on what gets delayed. But we'll first go ahead and start with Sapphin Tight Makeies. Now, Sapphi, as they call her, is actually from the Monster Girl Doctor anime. It's my first Musume series. I haven't seen Monster Musume, but this Nendoroid looks so cute. She's probably going to be a little bit taller just because, you know, she is kind of a Lamia snake type of character. As far as the anime itself, I've made it about halfway through so far. I really enjoy the relationship, you know, between Sapphi and the Doctor. I'm not a huge fan of ecchi or fan service parts in anime, but it does kind of have a tasteful, classic, almost Renaissance style to it as well, which kind of counteracts the lewd moments. So I will most likely finish the anime. However, I knew I had to get the Nendoroid just because it was so cute. She comes with some great poses and faces, and I can't wait to display her. Now next comes two of my favorite girls. We do have Shiro and we have Shubi, both from No Game No Life and No Game No Life Zero respectively. Now the initial release of the pop-up parade for Shiro, I missed out on it. It wasn't one I was able to pick up. I didn't even know that pop-up parade figures existed at the time, and I'm really sad that I missed out, so I made sure to pick her up on the pre-release this time. And of course I had to get Shubi. You know, I do have Shubi's Good Smile 1/8 version, and I do have the Kotobukiya 1/8, I believe, scale version of Shiro as well. So they're just going to display really well with the pop-up parade figures. Okay, next one is one that I'm a little bit hesitant on just because I'm not really familiar with the brand. However, I did go ahead and pick up the 1/7 version of Amiya from Arknights. This is by Amon Toys. I haven't gotten any figures from them yet, so I'm excited to see how this looks. But it's pretty spot on to the original 2D artwork for Amiya, so I'm excited to see how she looks in person. I do want to have a couple shelves that are dedicated to Arknights figures, and I have more coming here in the pre-orders. So the only thing I think is a little bit off with Amiya is that she looks to have a little bit of a different facial structure. I think that's just the promotional pictures they used of her, although I think they got a lot of the details right, so I'm not complaining too much. So these next few figures have actually been delayed, and 2 of them have been delayed since January. And I believe one of them has been delayed since February. So it is a lot of money that I'm dropping on these beauties, but at the same time, it's just the nature of the beast, and I'm more than happy to do it. Those 2 figures that have been delayed the most, I will put here. We have Aresh Kigal from FNext, and then we also have Ishtar from FNext. Yes, I pre-ordered both. I really couldn't help it. The first one I had gotten was Ishtar, because Ishtar is my #1. She is so cool, and I love Rin Tosaka. I also have the Aniplex version of Ishtar, so I had to match them together. But then I saw that Aresh Kigal was also being released, and I also have the Aniplex version of Aresh Kigal. So I had to get the matching set, and it's kind of a bummer that they're coming out here in the same month. Hopefully, if they even get released, I wouldn't be surprised if they get delayed again. Now for these figures, I believe they're based off of the Fate Demonic from Babylonia anime. Great anime, I really enjoyed it. And of course you got to see Ishtar and Aresh Kigal fleshed out in anime form for the first time. You kind of get Rin from the Ishtar vibes, but then Aresh Kigal was like this really sweet version of Rin, I guess, with blonde hair. It was really nice to see them that way, and I love the art style of the anime, so they're depicted really well. I had to pick up both. Now these were originally set to release in January. When I tell you that I clenched because my January month was already full of other things that I've already unboxed this year. However, then they get pushed to February. I think, okay, all right, well that gives me some time. Then we go to March, which Ishtar was in March, and I believe Aresh Kigal was in April. I was all right with that because then they're split up, they're easier to pay for, I'm good to go, right? Wrong. Next, they get pushed both to May. We're in the current month, and this is where it's gonna hit me the tightest. I'm okay with it. I'm going to mention a lot about how I'm taking a financial debt here with these figures, but you know. So I am just so glad they're finally getting a release this month. Assuming there are no more delays, it's about time. It's been 4 months. You know, let them out, let them free. Another Arknights figure that we have for this month actually is Blaze, and she is depicted in her original artwork from Arknights. Now she is from Apex. I have no familiarity with Apex as well, so both Iman Toys from Amiya and Apex for Blaze, I have no history with or experience with as companies for figures, so I'm hoping that they come out okay. I've seen some pictures for others that had gotten it released prior. Mind you that most of my pre-orders are from Ami, so Ami has not released her yet. I am seeing good things though, so I'm hopeful. And she's just so badass. Look at the chainsaw. Look at the hair sculpt. I am a sucker for a good hair sculpt, and this one definitely can show that. Plus, Blaze in the game is killer. Now, the final pre-order that I have for May is the next purple processor unit from Hyperdimension Neptunia 7, I believe. As far as my familiarity with Hyperdimension Neptunia, I've actually just started playing the first game. I'm actually playing the Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 on the Steam platform. I'm really enjoying it. It's super funny. I love the way that they break the fourth wall with a lot of their dialogue, and I really love the design of Purple Heart and Black Heart. So when it comes to the next purple, this took the design up a notch, actually several notches. And I'm really happy to finally get her. Now the story behind this figure is I was scrolling through, I believe it was a Facebook group for anime figure collectors, and I saw that someone had gotten this next purple processor unit figure, and it was so gorgeous in the shots. It is purple, it is stylish, it has a great hair sculpt, great eyes on them as well. There's no way I was gonna get it, right? Well, I was looking at the aftermarket price and my jaw about dropped. It was not something that I was getting anytime soon. However, now that it's being re-released and it's supposed to be this month, I'm finally getting her. I saw her on pre-order for Ami like 3 weeks ago, and I had to pick her up. She was mine. As far as the series, being familiar with it, I'll get to the 7th game eventually. It's not something that I'm getting bored with playing. I'm really enjoying it. So now that concludes May. Let's go ahead and move to June. Now, because of the whopping amount that I'm getting hit with in May, June is definitely a month that I did not pre-order much from. It's going to be my recuperation month, my recovery month, assuming nothing else gets delayed this month. I keep saying that and I keep meaning it. I'm really scared. I don't want them to be delayed. But back to June, it's something that's more smaller. I do have a couple Nendoroids that are actually coming out in June. Now, the first one that I ordered was actually the Kingdom Hearts 2 version of Sora. Now, I'm kind of upset with Good Smile Company simply because we now have all three versions of Sora. We have the Kingdom Hearts 2 version, we have the Kingdom Hearts 3 version, and the Kingdom Hearts 1 version. Same thing with Riku, all three versions. And they've just announced like Axel and Roxas. I am waiting to get all the members of Organization 13, the original and the Kingdom Hearts 3 versions. It's something that I would love to collect. They would make a great set. I have almost all the Hypnosis Mic Nendoroids. I would love all the Organization 13 Nendoroids. These giant sets of Nendoroids really fit what I like to collect there. So now when it comes to the Kingdom Hearts 2 version, this is my favorite version of Sora. Kingdom Hearts 2 was such an amazing game for me, as it was for a lot of people, and getting a Nendoroid like this is definitely bringing up nostalgia vibes. Now I already have the KH1 version of Sora, of course, as well as the KH version of Riku, so I'm just going to be adding the others to the collection and hope that they fledge out the rest of them as well. This one I did actually pre-order from Good Smile. I noticed that Good Smile had a lot of their Nendoroids as limited exclusives to their shop this year, which was very interesting, and we may be seeing more of that depending on where the trajectory goes. But yeah, I went ahead and picked them up. It was only like $5 shipping on sale. So now this next one I was actually really iffy about, but I went ahead and picked him up, and that is Sesshomaru from Inuyasha. Now, Sesshomaru is my favorite character from Inuyasha, that's no question. The thing that kind of was taking me away from the pre-order at first was the fact that they used his manga colors, which are simply, white and purple. Now, I know him for his anime version, which has, the splashes of red and yellow and vibrant colors, but I wasn't getting that from this version of the Nendoroid, and it almost deterred me from even pre-ordering them at all. However, it is Sesshomaru, and I don't know if they're going to be coming out with another one. Purple's my thing. You can tell that purple's my thing. My lighting's purple, my hair is purple, my makeup has a little bit of purple in it. I can't really tell, but it's definitely my aesthetic, and if I get a purple version of Sesshomaru, then so be it. So now we are at July. July, again, small month. I'm not trying to spend a lot of money. So the only thing that I have pre-ordered is the Kingdom Hearts 2 version of Riku. Again, this is also my favorite version of Riku. I don't know if it's just nostalgia, I think it just looks better. It's going to look great next to my other Kingdom Hearts Nendoroids, next to Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora. Like, they're going to be a dynamic duo. Of course I'm going to display them together. But this is all in all my favorite version of Riku. I'm also a sucker for a long-haired Riku. My favorite version has the long hair. Even in his organization coat, he looked awesome. I love that he used to have the blindfold as well, and taking away some of these really cool dark aesthetics in place of, more of a stylistic choice with the plaid in Kingdom Hearts 3. Not my favorite look. He is starting to look a little bit more like Sora in that sense, which he looked completely different here in Kingdom Hearts 2, but I digress. Speaking of the Kingdom Hearts 3 versions of these Nendoroids for Sora and Riku, in August we have both that are due for payment. Now, this is more of a collector's achievement. I wanted to get all three versions of each of them. It's not much more than that. I don't really favor the Kingdom Hearts 3 versions of Sora and Riku. The only one that I would probably say I prefer a lot is Kairi. I do prefer like her plaid aesthetic. She's got the jacket with the cat ears, I believe it's on it, or horns that are on it. I believe it's cat ears. She's really pretty, and I can't wait for her Nendoroid to come out. But as far as Sora and Riku, they look pretty similar in the Kingdom Hearts 3 outfits. I could have even got one over the other, but I had to hit that 100% completion, right? And next, speaking of Square Enix, we do have a couple of figures that I believe are going to be prize figures. They were really cheap for the price point. I believe they were around $40 or $50. But we do have both Neku and Shiki from The World Ends With You animation. Now, I'm currently watching The World Ends With You animation, and it's alright. It skips a lot. It kind of gives the characters different lights, However, I am a sucker for the game, and whether they're displayed in the animation form or the game form, they both look the same to me, so instant pre-order. I know they're also coming out with Rhyme and Beat. Now, I would love for us to also get some Reaper figures too. I would love to get like Konishi, she's actually my favorite Reaper. I would also see ones like Minamimoto, that would be great. Hopefully we can get some cool Reaper figures, or even Kaya, that would be cool too. Back to the pre-orders though, the next one is actually a re-release, and it's one that I'm really excited for. Full disclosure, I don't collect a lot of Miku figures. I have been tempted by the Taito line. Their prize figures are super cheap. They make them super cute and almost not look like Miku a lot of the times. So I've been tempted with buying those. However, I do want to go ahead and collect some scales, and one that I've really had my eye on was the Deep Sea Girl version of Miku. Now, when I saw the Deep Sea Girl figure for the first time, I was really in awe of her. I had been a fan of like Project Diva and Project Mirai, where I would play Deep Sea Girl over and over and over, and the fact that they were coming out with a figure based on the song and the video, of course, is super cool. I remember watching so many unboxing videos of that figure in particular and thinking, wow, one day I'm gonna have it. It looks super expensive, but maybe one day I'll grab it. The re-release came a few months ago and I couldn't be happier. It was an instant pre-order. Now the next one was actually a surprise to me that I picked up. However, I'm not mad about it, and that's going to be my first scale figure of Miss Chika Fujiwara from Kaguya-sama Love is War. This figure I saw in my figure collection, literally just browsing randomly. I wasn't filtering any results or updated releases or anything. I saw her and I go, oh my gosh, that's like one of the most perfect representations of Chika, right? Little did I know though, it wasn't up for pre-order at the time I was looking. And I thought, well, it's gonna be a while before this happens. I'll go ahead and start, saving some money for her, because I'm definitely getting her. However, I refreshed Ami Ami after I had just looked at the figure, and bam, it went right up for pre-order, so instant pre-order there too. She comes with a hat that you can display with or without. I may go ahead and display it without, just because I love the cute little bow she has on her bangs. But I'm excited, it'll be my first Chika figure. I thought about getting the bunny figure by Frame. I'm still on the fence on that, just because I feel like the proportions are not the best for Chika. And I don't really have a lot of bunny figures. I only have the 02 bunny figure as of now, hoping to collect more in the future, but I'd like to curate that collection a little bit. I don't want to go willy-nilly with bunny figures. Okay, so I did have one more figure in July that I wanted to mention, and it seems like I may have missed them on my sheet, but this one's actually something I'm really excited for, and that's going to be the Type Moon Racing versions of Jeanne d'Arc and Astolfo. I had to go ahead and pick up this figure because A, it's going to be my first scale Astolfo. B, it's going to be my first scale Jeanne figure. So them together make a really awesome duo, and this will be my first Type Moon Racing figure, and I do have one more to come down the road, so stay tuned for that. Now we only have 3 figures coming in September. However, there are some of the more costly figures, so I'll go over those now. The first one is actually my other Type Moon Racing figure that's coming, and this is the pair of Nero Claudius and Tamamo no Mae. Now I am a really big sucker for the pink lemonade combination, the pink and blonde hair, just like how I was with the Jeanne and Astolfo figures. However, these are depicted really well too. They have a great pose. I love the outfits that they're wearing, and they're really cool depictions of both Tamamo and Nero. I'll probably be displaying them on the same shelf as Jeanne and Astolfo. The next one I have is going to be a Nendoroid, and it is a Arknights Nendoroid. For getting a lot of Arknight figures, I don't play it as much as I would like to, at least anymore. But I love the characters, I love the designs, and I love some of the backstory, so that's what drove me to get the Texas Nendoroid. Now Texas is so cute. She has such cool, like too cool for school expressions, and she's gonna look great next to my other Nendoroids, which include Amiya, and then I have Exia. I do have one more that I'm going to do an unboxing for, so stay tuned for that. And lastly, for September, we have the most costly figure I think throughout any of the months that I've pre-ordered, and that is the swimsuit version of Shalltear Bloodfallen. This one was not one that I planned on pre-ordering. I believe it's by Shibuya Crossing, if I'm not mistaken, And I've seen with Shibuya Crossing figures that they have these almost resin type styles to them, but I believe they're still done in PVC with other material. This is the best version I've seen in figure form of Shalltear. There was another figure showing like the regular version of Shalltear. I'll put that here. I had her pre-ordered. She got delayed at one point and I just wasn't in love with it. But at the time it was the only Shalltear figure that I could pre-order until this one went up for order itself. I love the mixture of the water and the blood splashes. That is pinnacle Shalltear. She loves to surround herself in blood. She's a vampire, it makes sense. And I love that she kind of has this almost tsundere look to her, and it just fits very well. I'm so glad I decided to stick around and pick her up. Alright, so we've only got about 3 more months to go, so thank you for bearing with me. Sound off in the comments below as well. What figures have you seen so far that you're excited for me to unbox? Because I'm going to try to unbox the majority of them here on the channel. So let me know which ones you'd like to see and which ones really pique your interest. So the next one that I have starting in October is actually a posable figure. This is the Lucia Dawn version from the mobile game Punishing Gray Raven. Punishing Gray Raven is one of the most exciting mobile games I've ever played. I played I believe it was the Taiwanese version when it came out, just because it was the only one I could download. And even though none of it actually made sense to me, the combat was amazing, the aesthetic was amazing, the characters were amazing. Lucia here is amazing. I really loved the whole concept of the game. And I think that once it hits the global market, which it should be by the summer, it's going to be my favorite game that I'll be playing in a long time. And this figure will probably be my favorite posable figure, just because it really has a lot of articulation to it. It's not going to be a regular scaled like Figma figure, it's going to be slightly larger, and I love that they really fit the aesthetic of Lucia here. Here's to more Punishing Gray Raven content, here's to more Punishing Gray Raven figures, merchandise, I want it all. Now the next one here is a Nendoroid, and that would be Power from Chainsaw Man. I have just started reading Chainsaw Man, and I already love Power as a character. I love that she loves this cute little cat Miyako, and I really hope to catch up where everyone else is with the manga series. This one was actually recommended to me a few different times, so I bit the bullet, gave it a read, saw this was going up for pre-order, and I had to snag it. She looks really cute. Now the last one coming our way that month is going to be this version of Yue from Arifureta, from Commonplace to World's Strongest. This figure actually got me to watch Arifureta because I wanted to be familiar with the content. I don't buy a lot of figures that I don't know the content for because I'd like to have a connection to the figure. I have a couple exceptions. If you would like me to make a separate video on that, I'm happy to do so, but I try to stay within the realm of what I know or can know. And I believe that Yue was a great example of this. I really enjoyed Arifureta. It was more of a slow start. It was a slow start. I didn't know if I could stay with it simply because it was a slow start. But I loved Yue, I loved Hajime as well as the 2 main characters, and Shia, the bunny girl. They made a great trio, and it really made me want to stick with it. I'm glad I did. And I'm ready for season 2, just in case you're wondering. As far as the figure itself, it has a really cool environmental touch to it. I love that she's on this rocky terrain with the crystals jutting out. It's going to fit my collection really well and my aesthetic personally. Okay, so I am looking at it as of now, and November is a big month for me, apparently. The first one that I want to mention is one that I've just pre-ordered here within the last month, and that is the Rose Idol version of Nero Claudius. Now this is a re-release, and I'm happy it's re-releasing. It's actually one of my favorite depictions of Nero ever. She's so elegant, so pretty, classic Nero with the roses. I don't think you can go wrong with this. I'm happy it's getting a re-release. I do want a dedicated Nero shelf as well, and I think that the Type Moon Racing figure, as well as the Stronger figure that I currently have, are going to be a great match for that. I also have another one next month that I'll go over here in just a little bit. Now next, to follow my MyEthos A to Z collection, we have D. Now, D looks so cool. D follows the same style as my S figure, which I went over in my top 7 anime figures. I will leave a card up in the upper right corner for you to view that. And she'll fit in right with S. I may have a dedicated shelf for them too. I like the mercenary style. I love her weapon and how it's displayed. And I really love the muted tones of her hair and outfit. It looks super cool. I believe there is one other scale figure from my ethos for the A to Z. I'd have to check, but I haven't gotten them yet. I may go back and order that one just so I can finish the collection. Now for another Kingdom Hearts Nendoroid that's coming out, we have Roxas. Roxas, growing up, was actually one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts 2 characters. You know, me and my best friend, hers would be Axel, mine would be Roxas. They were best friends, we were best friends, it only matched. Of course, that's probably changed throughout the years. I'm more of a Marluxia fan now, but Roxas will always hold a special place in my heart. Another Arcanite scale figure we have coming out is the E2 version, or Elite 2 version, of Exia. Now this is such a cool depiction of her. I think it's so cool. I love how they have the translucent back for the lighting, and then they have all the each individual guns that are being displayed with Exia. I saw the concept art for this from Good Smile, and I didn't think they'd be able to pull it off, but it looks top notch. Okay, so last but not least, I have another No Game No Life figure. This is the swimsuit version of Shiro. Now I had to pick up Shiro because she just looks so adorable. She has the cutest expression. She has Sora in a goldfish bag. That is such a cute tongue-in-cheek kind of touch. And then you also have the inflatables. Like, she is ready for a day in the beach. I also think a really nice touch is the goggles that she's wearing, as well as the crown that she's known for. Also, the colors in this are killer. I love anything pastel, cream shades, vibrant purples, pinks, and yellows. This just checks all the boxes for me, really. December right now is not looking too full, actually. I have a Nendoroid and a scale figure. The Nendoroid is, of course, Axel from Kingdom Hearts. Now, this Nendoroid is so cute. I love that you can display him without the marks under his eyes or with the marks. He also has the Keyblade that he receives as Lee, as well as his chakrams that he uses as Axel. You can display him either as his Kingdom Hearts 2 version or his Kingdom Hearts 3 / Dream Drop Distance version. So you've got options. And then the last figure to mention is my most recent pre-order, and that is the winter version here of Nero Claudius. She is so adorable. I love the plaid skirt that she has, and I love the recoloring of her weapon to fit that silvery winter theme. The scarf is also a nice touch. I believe it can be displayed without it, but I think I will. I think I'll keep it in season, or I may even remove it when season's away. Also, she's got a really cute, happy look on her face, and I think that going with that kind of Fate extra art style for the eyes and face was a really cool touch. I've seen other figures that don't depict her as well as I think she could be depicted, and this figure though checks that box for me. I think it's a really great choice. So that, my friends, were all of my pre-orders from 2021. It was rough to go through all those just because I didn't realize I had so many of them. I'm probably not done. I'd love to say that I was done, but you know, I can't make any guarantees there, right? I'm a collector. It's in my nature. I deserve to entertain that and to flourish in that and to relish in that. But at the same time, I need to calm down, all right? I need to let it go. No more pre-orders for me for the rest of the year. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing this. I had a lot that I had to go over, but thanks for bearing with me. Now feel free to sound off in the comments below on which figures you're excited to see me unbox, and let me know what other content you'd like to see from me. I thought this would be a cool departure from my unboxing videos, so if you enjoy it, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more if you enjoy content like this. Also, friendly reminder, go ahead and follow my socials. I will list those here. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and take care.